up on the block. I got him like no. Little mama drop it.
Cardone was already a star. He had a gift.
He had a pretty big following here in Texas and also a famous relative, Beyonce.
I need police now, and I think my husband is injured.
My servant, Detective Molina, showed up, knocked on the door, there was no answer.
Is that a bullet hole?
We noticed a bullet hole on the door.
That's weird, yeah.
As soon as I opened the door, I could see the individual lying on his back with a dry blood all around him.
It was pretty obvious he had been looking out the peephole to someone when he was shot.
The victim, 34-year-old Martel Duran, was found by police with a gunshot wound.
It was a big story for us. You know, is this drug related? Is this music related? Is this violence associated with some of the people that he hung around with?
He wasn't no fool. He knew what comes with that type of lifestyle.
He did purchase a gun, and the one thing that I told him is, like, don't be showing it on Instagram. Don't be doing all that flashy stuff.
Did he do any of that stuff on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The top's not safe, man. The devil's gonna work through a lot of people to get to the ones at the top.
Okay, your wife is in a bar. You said she's unresponsive.
This is what he's going to tell you.
How to get out of that situation.
And I grabbed the gun.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir.
The only thing they could do was kill him.
You want to say anything?
We, the jury, and to find the defendant.
San Antonio Police, this is Chrissy. How can I help you?
I'm in Louisiana, but I have a stepson out there in San Antonio, and family members have been trying to call him since Saturday, and we haven't been getting any response back. And we wanted to know if you guys could do a wellness check just to see if everything's okay with him.
And who are we checking on?
Martel, M-A-R-T-E-L-L, Duran.
Martel Duran was a well-known figure in the rap music scene in Texas, performing under the name Cardone.
Cardone was already a star. He had a gift. You could see what he would say, you know.
He loves to tell stories, and he loves to have that type of music to where others can actually feel and relate in.
But if we could take the time to just see that everything ain't the money, came to realize that it's just a fake appeal.
And also Martel had a famous relative who everybody knows as the legendary Beyonce.
That's his cousin.
Is he diagnosed with any mental illness or on any medication?
No,
Okay.
none of that. You know,
And how
so
long
we
has
don't know.
it been since he's been heard from?
He doesn't answer his phone, no text message. I just want to make sure he's okay.
Okay, we will go ahead and get someone to do a welfare check for you.
The address is going to be the Towers at Lock and Terra.
So the apartment complex is on the northwest side of the city. It's a nice area.
If you wanted a new cool place, that's probably the place you would go.
We don't get a lot of calls in that area. We don't get a lot of, say, assaults or shootings in that area.
Martel had moved there after he and his wife, Joya, had separated.
So when the call came in, it was for a welfare check, and they were adamant that he was there. My servant, Detective Molina, showed up. Knocked on the door, there was no answer.
Is that a bullet hole?
We noticed a bullet hole on the door. So that kind of escalated the situation to go further than just knock on the door and leave and let them know that we couldn't contact anyone.
That's weird, yeah.
Police!
We didn't know if someone shot through the door or if he was in there. We really didn't know, so kept banging on the door and no answers. I went down to the office and requested a key, and so we went back upstairs and tried to open the door with a key, and we couldn't open it. So we knew it was locked from the inside.
It's locked from the inside.
So maintenance made the location, and they started drilling out the lock so we could make entry. and at the same time, we checked the garage. And we found his vehicle in the garage.
I see.
Checked the hood, touched the hood with my hand. It was cold, so we know it's been parked there for a while.
But even as suspicions were rising, the officers did not have the authority to force entry.
We can't just break the door down. You know, how about if he's taking a shower or something like that? We don't know.
Hold on. There you go.
I went ahead and put the screwdriver in there, was able to open it. As soon as I opened the door, I could see the individual lying on his back with a dry blood all around him. He wasn't responsive, he was just laying there.
When I looked at the victim and saw where the wound was, and then compared that to where the bullet hole was in the door, it was pretty obvious he had been looking out the peephole to someone when he was shot.
We saw a chair in the room kicked over, took a look towards the kitchen, found some dishes on the floor.
You could tell right away it was in disarray. There had been some type of fight or dispute in there. The bed was broken, things were just a mess. Looking in the closet, we did notice that there was a gun box, but no gun. The gun box was empty.
It was a big story for us. One of the first homicides of the year for the city.
The victim, 34-year-old Martel Duren, was found by police with a gunshot wound on Tuesday.
Police aren't revealing many details about this case at this hour.
When we started to find out more about who Martel was and speaking with his family and early on in the investigation, there was thought, this, you know, is this drug related? Is this music related? Is this violence associated with some of the people that he hung around with? So there was a lot of unanswered questions.
The rap music scene has often been associated with violence connected to rivalries and feuds. And as Martel was gaining notice and success, those close to him worried that he, too, could become a target.
The top's not safe, man. The devil's gonna work through a lot of people to get to the ones at the top.
Would you lay up in the bed, you could take it to the grave, straight into the head.
Death was a subject in some of Martel's videos.
If I die, don't cry for my departure. Let the curtains close as the sermon goes. They play this at my funeral so everybody knows. I never planned this.
He wasn't no fool. He knew what comes with that type of lifestyle.
Hi, ma'am.
Detectives had just begun to process the scene after discovering Martel's body when his wife, Joya, arrived.
Fort Martel?
Uh-huh. Are you related to him?
What? Are you guys able to get in?
Yes, ma'am. There's some officers up there, but it's best if you just stay down here right now. I'm going to go talk to the office. Okay?
So we can't go up there?
Not right now.
I didn't allow her to go upstairs and inform her that when the detectives show up, homicide detectives show up, that they would be speaking to her. And so she kind of had a feeling that something went bad.
Joya was on the phone with Martel's parents.
Is there anything that you can tell us, please?
I can't tell you anything, ma'am. I can't tell you anything yet.
She kept trying to push as to what's going on, what happened, is he there? And I just kind of informed her that it's best if they told her what happened.
He can't tell me anything right now. He says I have to wait for a detective. Martel.
When's the last time you spoke to him?
I spoke to him on Friday.
Friday?
Through text message.
Okay.
And then Thursday, he came over to do his hair at my apartment. I live by the dentist.
Okay. So Friday you weren't here, nobody was here, then you didn't come visit him, right?
I don't know who was here. I know he was working with people and doing music.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
He can't tell me anything right now.
We didn't know what could have possibly happened to him. All we could really think is who could have possibly done it.
That's the wife right there. That's the wife right there.
She live here?
No, they're separated right now.
Suspect number one.
Suspect number one.
And again, I appreciate you coming in and talking to me. If you're here voluntarily, if you don't want to talk to me, you don't have to, okay?
We interviewed Mr. DeRuin's estranged wife. They were separated and not living together, but she was there at the scene.
And what kind of relationship or marriage did you guys have?
It was great. We had a lot in common. We both loved music. I did a little music as well and things like that. Towards the end, I would say the last 2 years is kind of when it got rocky. I don't know, sometimes he can get a little mean and stuff, so not to mention that with the music stuff, I really didn't like some of the people that he worked with. Kind of shady. You know, a lot of times what happens is people get in beefs about music and then see you flash and stuff, which I told him not, you know, don't do that.
But he did.
Before his life was taken, the music went aggressive, braggadocious.
You know how much it means to me. You know how much it means to me to get a bag and pull up on them easily.
But glorifying like more negativity than usual.
He did purchase a gun, and I told him that when we were together, I never wanted a gun in the house.
Mm-hmm. What type of gun was it?
It wasn't just like a handgun. I don't know. And the one thing that I told him is like, don't be showing it on Instagram. Don't be doing all that flashy stuff.
Did he do any of that stuff on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I messaged him and I said, hey man, when did we start taking pictures with guns? Like, when did we start doing that? That's what they got to do with your music.
Did he flash money a lot on Instagram or?
He may have, but I know one thing that he did was he liked a lot of jewelry.
Okay. Obviously he's flashing. He's doing some of that stuff on Instagram.
He's always been flashy and cocky.
And cocky.
To be honest with you, I thought he got robbed because, you know, Cordone, you know, he was flashy. It was like the devil knew his Achilles heel.
We do understand that that industry is very competitive and can tend to be violent from time to time. But in this case, we didn't spend a whole lot of time looking into that.
Especially after officers at the scene discovered that it appeared his wife had made an earlier 911 call for a welfare check on Martel, 4 days before his body was found.
I need police now.
Okay, and your name?
My name is Joya Duran.
A call Joya had never mentioned to police.
Okay, what's going on?
I'm trying to get in my apartment, but I'm not able to get in. And I see, like, I'm just not able to get in, and I think my husband is injured.
Your husband's hurt?
Yes.
Do you hear him?
No, he's not responding, and I called him, and he's just not responding, and there's a hole in his door, and I don't know what's going on, honestly.
There's a hole in the door?
Yes.
But she didn't give the correct apartment number. The information she provided led them to a building that wasn't even fully constructed. So they didn't have any information to go off, so they weren't able to find Mr. DeRuin or assist him at that point.
Spell the first name?
Joya, G-A-O-I-A.
Okay. And your husband's name?
Martel.
Last name?
Deron, D-E-R-O-U-N.
It was sad to think that we had an opportunity that maybe we could have been able to get to him sooner.
And the neighbor who lived across from Martel's apartment told police she heard a woman outside his door around the same time as the 911 call the previous Friday night.
So I remember like hearing knocking, and so I opened the door, and that's when I saw the girl that I've seen maybe about 2 or 3 times, and she was just like banging and banging and banging on his door. And I guess I was kind of taken aback because I wasn't sure exactly what was going on, because she was barefoot and she had like nothing in her hand, and she just looked a little bit out of it, like facial expression wise. So I immediately just apologized for opening the door because I didn't want me to interrupt whatever was happening. Because I figured if she's hanging on his door, it's probably not good.
Yeah.
And that helped us to start to establish a timeline of when this might have happened to Mr. DeRuin.
So now police rushed to canvass other apartments on the floor to see if anyone had surveillance camera video from that night, and they found one.
And sure enough, we see on that camera footage at about the time that we had established already a female matching the description of the female that the neighbor saw banging on Mr. DeRuin's door. The frightening part about it was looking at that footage, we knew this was the person we were looking for because she's carrying a gun in one hand and a cell phone in the other. So we're able to compare her 911 call recording to the video where you can hear the audio, and it's the exact same call.
Yes.
Okay, and this is the Towers?
Yes.
Okay, and your name?
My name is Joya Duran.
But then another twist. The woman who had said she was Joya was not Joya at all.
We had that witness look at her, and she said, "That's not who I saw."
But Joya did have an idea who the woman in the video might be.
Do you remember any of the people that he kind of hung out with during that rap group?
No, I only know of one person, and that was the girl I sent the picture to, the detective.
What's that girl's name?
It's Sasha.
Is it S-A-S-H-A?
Mm-hmm. Last name Skare, S-K-A-R-E.
S-K-A-R-E. Let me see. So this is her?
That's her.
My baby say, "Daddy, don't cry." So what? Still hurting me. I'm sorry, baby, but I'm crying, but it hurts me. Ooh, it's still hurting me. It's hurting me. It's still hurting me. Yeah. I wrote a song called Still Hurting.
Martell's friend and producer, Brian Mitchell, recorded the tribute the day he learned of the murder.
It's too late for me to run away. I gotta stay in here and fight for the better day. I had like anger in my heart. I'm a very emotional person. You know, it broke me down. He had star quality from the first handshake. You knew he was the standout.
And Mitchell said Martell refused to use his cousin Beyonce to help his career.
Me begging him to please show Beyonce your music. It's like he wouldn't want to do it. It's like one of those, I'd rather die on my knees. He wants to make it on his own.
Mitchell knew the suspected killer, Sasha Skare, as someone who was spending a lot of time with Martell, appearing in some of his videos.
That same gun that's in that picture with the Mercedes, it's the same gun, you know, that she used to take his life.
And Martell's estranged wife, Joya, told detectives about her suspicions of Sasha.
And I believe that's who he was currently seeing now, since we've been separated.
So why do you believe that he was seeing her?
She messaged me on Instagram, just kind of alluding to the fact that she wanted to ask me about the relationship that we had, me with him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, what can I help you with? And then she never said anything after that. But I guess she was wanting to find out, like, why we separated, or if, you know,
if there was any still kind of feelings between y'all two.
Exactly. And the reason I say that about the Instagram is because there's pictures of her at his place, like sitting on his car and, you know, just different things like that.
She told the detectives Martell felt disrespected by Sasha.
Just allowing people to come into his home and do things with his property without his consent. So we could tell it was a volatile relationship.
Martell's text messages to Sasha were full of anger.
Things that she was doing that he had to address with her, and he was just, he wanted to help her. He was trying to help her, but he also let her know, look, I can't help you, and if you don't change, you're going to end up, you know, in prison, is basically what he told her.
In the beginning, it was more of like a teacher-student type relationship where he was trying to develop her music and all that stuff like that.
Was she like a singer, or was she just like some type of like type of promoter?
I believe she was trying to be a promoter, but she did do music as well. She had a couple of songs that she came over and done.
Did he ever confide in you his relationship with her?
He would just tell me that, yeah, I want to, continue working with her and doing the music and stuff like that.
And using the apartment surveillance footage, detectives were able to piece together what they thought happened that night between Sasha and Martel after an apparent fight.
Sasha left the apartment during the fight, got her hands on the gun, and that's when he locked the door. He deadbolted it. No one was getting back in there. That's why she was needing to bang on the door. She's trying to get his attention to open the door. She wants to get back in because she left some of her property there that she needed. She's barefoot. She needed to get her stuff. But we did find text messages that pretty much described what was happening. He even makes a plea with her, hey, you need to bring my gun back. These were the last text messages that Mr. Duruin was able to send. That really told us that the fight got out of control. She walked out of the apartment with the gun, which matches everything that we knew about the scenario. Her opportunity there is to leave or call 911. She didn't do that. Instead, she fired a gun into the door while he's standing on the other side and then fled. Sasha Scar was our suspect, and we needed to find her.
Police on the hunt to catch an accused killer.
Arrest warrants were obtained, and we sought assistance from the U.S. Marshal's office in locating her. We put the information out through the media.
The hunt is on for a 21-year-old woman. This is the woman SAPD says they are looking for, 21-year-old Sasha Scar.
She had had some skin treatment done, and it looked like she had scars on her, but those went away.
Her face is kind of everywhere, it's on the news, it's on social media.
We did get some calls from some of her friends and acquaintances that she was probably on the run. Looking into Sasha Scar, we found out that she had a criminal history, she had a criminal past. She had been involved in several things over the years.
Back in November 2019, she was wanted by Austin police for her alleged role in a drug deal that resulted in Austin's 33rd homicide that year.
We currently have a black female by the name of Sasha Scar. She is currently wanted for aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon.
The case against Scar in the Austin shooting was still pending at the time of Martel's murder.
He just told us that she was prone to violence.
San Antonio police and the U.S. Marshals searched for her for some 2 weeks.
If you know the whereabouts of Scar, you're asked to contact police immediately.
Eventually, she came back on her own, and she turned herself into the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. Can you identify yourself, your full name, birthday for me?
Sasha Scar.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I just call you Sasha? Okay. Before we get started, Sasha, because you are here in custody, I need to advise you of your rights, okay? I went there hoping she would give me a statement to explain everything that happened. I fully believed she was going to provide some type of statement claiming self-defense. What I want to do, the reason I'm here is to give you an opportunity to give your side of the story of what happened, okay? You be willing to do that?
Not without my lawyer present.
Okay. I totally understand that part of it, okay? I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Give me 1 second.
Sasha Scar was charged with first-degree murder, meaning it was premeditated.
She didn't have to do what she did, and his life didn't have to end like that.
Going live now to a trial in San Antonio, Texas for a woman named Sasha Scar, who's accused of killing her rap star boyfriend, who was Beyonce's cousin. When I saw Sasha in court, she looked completely different.
She had gained some weight while being in jail. Her hair had grown out.
She looked exhausted, didn't look like the same person at all.
Scar faced up to life in prison if found guilty of first-degree murder. She had turned down a plea deal for a 20-year sentence.
The first 2 benches of the courtroom every day was full of friends and family of Martel.
We wanted to see as a family what happened. We wanted to be there and see all of the details.
But on the other side, it was empty. There was nobody there for Sasha. I felt like there was a lot stacked against her in this case.
Good morning. Throughout our trial, you're going to learn that there was a physical confrontation in there by the evidence that we see, broken items. You're going to learn that a bullet, disputed, a bullet went through the door, near the keyhole, and through his head. And the most, probably in my mind, most compelling part, video recording of the defendant walking with a semi-automatic 9mm down the hallway on his cell phone. Incidentally, you will learn that when the medical examiner did the autopsy on Martel, they pulled out of his head a 9mm bullet. And when you put these items together, we're going to ask you to find the defendant guilty of murder. Thank you.
Now, respectfully, the defense would reserve until the start of the case in chief.
And state with you, please call me.
State calls us Joy. What were the reasons for your separation back in 2019?
Well, we didn't want the same things anymore.
I can only imagine how that was for Joya. He was giving up, and then, you know, on their marriage, and then in the middle of that tornado, boom, the mistress becomes the cause of death.
During the time that you were together, did you have an opportunity to meet an individual by the name of Sasha Scar?
I did.
Did you ever observe any ugliness from her?
Not really ugliness, just more of like standoffishness. She seemed like she was either very shy or just hiding something.
Prosecutors then played the 911 call from the woman who said she was Joya.
And your name? My name is Joya Duran.
Did you recognize the voice, the caller on that 911 recording?
Yeah, I recognized it.
And whose voice was it?
It was Sasha's voice.
And finally, Ms. Joya, the person that we see in State's Exhibit number 4 and 6, and in the video, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I do. She's sitting over there on the fence.
And just that the jury's clear, can you point her out, please?
Yeah, she's right there, Sasha.
Okay. And she's wearing a black jacket.
Yeah, black jacket, white shirt.
Your Honor, this time the State will ask this witness for cross-examination at this time. Yes.
You and Martel have arguments or fights or anything leading up to your separation?
No, everybody has arguments, but it wasn't anything major. We separated on good terms, I would say.
Carol, we'll pass on this. Thank you.
The prosecution's remaining witnesses were detectives and forensic specialists who had to overcome the fact that the murder weapon was never recovered.
So we did look in the dumpsters and trash cans and bushes all around that we could find.
Police believe the weapon was the 9mm gun Martel used in his videos, missing from the gun box in his closet.
I could determine that the bullet was fired from a 9mm caliber firearm.
And without a firearm or without a gun to compare to, you cannot make a comparison.
That's correct.
At this time, State will go. You've heard a lot of evidence before. You've heard the what, you put the when, the where.
Now you're going to hear about the why. You're going to hear from Miss Sasha Scar herself, and you're going to hear a version of events that happened that night. We're going to leave it up to you to make that decision. And ultimately, at the end, we believe you'll return the only verdict that makes sense, which is not guilty as to murder. The defense calls Miss Sasha Scar to the stand. Could you please start by stating your name for the record?
My name is Sasha Scar.
When I heard that Sasha was going to take the stand, I couldn't believe it. It's a tactic you rarely hear used by a defense attorney.
Scar's defense lawyer, Adam LaHood, took her through her testimony.
Did you and Martel ever have a dating or any kind of sexual relationship with each other?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
She didn't look intimidating. She didn't sound intimidating. She came across just as a very soft-spoken woman, almost as if she was portraying herself as the victim.
I was getting ready to go to sleep. I was scrolling on my phone, and Martel came into the room and turned the lights on. He asked me to leave, and I just asked him why.
If you recall, what was he saying at the time?
He was upset because he felt like I was on the phone with another man.
Did this verbal argument escalate into anything more physical?
Yes, it did.
How did the bed become broken?
When I had snatched my stuff from him, he had tackled me onto the bed, and for what felt like a long time, he was hitting me, choking me, until up to the point where I couldn't breathe. And then the bed just broke all of a sudden.
Ma'am, who's this a photo of?
That's me.
Okay. And again, you said, when were these photos taken? Was this photo taken?
A couple of days after.
Okay.
I have a bruised eye and a few scratches on my neck.
She was trying to tell the jury that for her own protection, she grabbed his gun.
Were you in fear for your life at that point?
Yes, I was.
Okay. After you had grabbed the weapon, the gun, what happened next?
I told him, don't touch me. I started backing up out of the bedroom. When I backed up out of the bedroom, he started following me. I started grabbing dishes out of the cabinets and throwing it in between us.
Some of those parts I can say was a little emotional for me, knowing that that wasn't true. I know that he would have never been the type of man to be abusive, so I didn't stay in for a lot of her portion.
Crime scene photos did show that there was some kind of sign of a struggle. But I guess the question is who was the aggressor and who wasn't?
I want you to demonstrate for the jury how exactly was the gun discharged.
As I was knocking on the door, I just threw the gun up there and just
And the gun went off?
Yes.
Okay. And did you know he was standing behind the door?
No, sir, I didn't.
Okay. After the gun goes off, what happened next?
That's when I ended up calling the police.
Spell the first name?
Joya, G-A-O-I-A.
Who was the person that placed that 911 call?
That was me.
Your name is not Joya?
No, sir.
Okay. Why did you give a false name in the 911 call?
At that time, I really wasn't in the right mind, and I'm not really used to calling the police, so I felt like since that was his wife, I just felt like I should, I guess, present myself as her.
What happened to the firearm, Sasha?
I had to end up just throwing it in the dumpster.
Miss Scar, when he fired that shot, did you know Martel was behind that door?
No, sir, I didn't.
Did you mean to hurt Martel?
Not at all.
Tell this jury, what was your intent when that gun fired?
I guess my intent was just to get his attention.
Thank you, ma'am. Government will pass this witness.
The cross-examination was handled by prosecutor Chris Ramos.
Ms. Scott, so it is your testimony at this point in time you're scared to death. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, sir.
So when he wanted you to leave, why not just get out?
Because not only was I intoxicated, he had brought me there, and that was the second time he had did the same thing, as far as bringing me to his place and then all of a sudden just asking me to leave. So I was just questioning why, like, why are you doing that?
Now, fast forward a little bit, after the gun went off and you had your cell phone, you still found a way to leave, right? Correct?
Correct.
So instead of calling 911 and saying, hey, I've just been assaulted, I've just been choked, you didn't do that, correct?
No, sir, I didn't.
You had a gun in your hand and you could have found a safe place to remain and call police, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have an opportunity to tell the 911 operator immediately after it's happened, I've been choked, correct?
Correct.
I've been hit, correct?
Correct.
But you don't do that.
No, sir.
Can you demonstrate to me how your hands were as you were banging on the door? Can you show me with your hands, please?
I would say they were just like this.
Can you hold them up high, please? Can you, exactly as how you remember it?
I had the gun in my hand and...
Okay. The gun is in your hand?
Yes.
You're handling it the normal way somebody would, correct?
Correct.
And if you're banging on the door like this, the barrel's facing up, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Show me the moment it was discharged.
After I was knocking...
Show me with your hand, please.
I just lifted it up and just shot. I didn't...
You lifted it up and shot?
Yes.
You lifted it up and shot?
Yes. So I wouldn't necessarily say to shoot it because...
Then why?
There would be no other answer, but...
The other answer is that you're angry, decided to shoot at him. That would be another reason why we would do.
I didn't decide to shoot at him, though.
She was the one and only witness for the defense, and then that was it.
Here, this time the defense would rise.
Would state like to make a closing argument?
We would, Your Honor.
Please go ahead.
She claimed that she was afraid for her life. She was scared to death. She left the apartment. And then she came back. Does that sound like someone who's afraid to you? No. She had a functional gun and a cell phone in her hand, left, and came back. The defendant knew exactly what she was doing. She was banging on the door to get Martel to come and deal with her. And then she shot him. That is murder.
Good morning. It's been a long few days. The state is inferring a lot of things. And again, I don't blame them, but those are inferences and speculation. There's nothing showing her standing back and intentionally aiming at the door. She's banging, banging, banging. Martel is silent back there, doesn't say a word. And you know what our theory is that unfortunately, he was quiet because he's afraid that the police are there, because he had just beat her. And the gun goes off as she's pulling it up. And I'm not saying goes off accidentally. She admits to pulling the trigger. She's owning it. She stood in the light and said it. She did not intend to hurt Martel. She did not intend to kill Martel. All she wanted to do was get her stuff. Sasha is still young. She's 24. She was 21 when this happened. She was stupid. She did a stupid, stupid thing. She was trapped. She didn't have her stuff. She's mad. She's intoxicated. She fires off a gun to get his attention, and tragedy strikes. Thank you.
Within 2 hours, they had reached a verdict.
You may be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my understanding that you've reached a verdict, and to the foreperson of the jury, is that verdict unanimous?
I definitely had a sense of nervousness of wanting to see what would happen.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Sasha Skar, guilty of the offense of murder as charged in the indictment
just seeing the reactions of my family having tears of joy and just seeing how like happy they were, it made me have a sense of relief.
They needed to hold her accountable, and they did.
Under Texas law, the jury would determine the sentence after hearing from more witnesses, including Martel's mother.
Can you describe how his loss has affected you?
Well, I can't. Every day it's very hard. I haven't slept in a very long time. It's just, as a mother, to lose a son and to lose him that way, it's unimaginable. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, nobody, ever.
I do have some type of hurt in my heart because I feel like if we would have never broken up, this would have never happened. I felt like in some form or fashion I was almost like a protector. So I felt like I wasn't there to keep negative energy away from him or people that shouldn't have been in his presence, because he was very kind and he wasn't naive, but I just feel like, you know, you let people around to help them, and sometimes they can take your kindness for weakness.
Sasha, the pain and agony that you brought upon my family is unbearable. You deserve every single consequence that you caused from your own actions. Lying, manipulating, deceiving, hurting, and destroying others emotionally and physically gets you nowhere in life. But the place you will be suffering is for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Is Ms. Scar, and please rise. State of Texas versus Sasha Scar, punishment verdict. We, the jury, having found that the defendant is guilty of the offense of murder, now return this verdict as to her punishment.
There's a wide range of punishment for first-degree murder in Texas. It's 5 to 99 years or life in prison.
Term of 55 years. Juror number 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 2, is this your verdict?
Under Texas law, she must serve half before she's eligible for parole.
I'm glad that justice caught up to her. She definitely closed the mouth of a man who was going to be remembered.
Even though a person is gone, memories like that are always forever. And I'm glad that he did make memories and that he did things while he was here for people to still listen to, for people to check into, and for people to still support even though he's gone.